Today, we're talking about the leader of the Proud Boys sentence being handed down, a Louisiana doctor being forced out of his home and state, a TikToker getting arrested for, well, reasons, and more, all in today's episode of The Insight Hour. What's up, Internet? Before we start, I completely forgot that I have a wedding this week, and it's gonna conflict with our new attempt at a schedule, so we'll start the new 3-episode-a-week schedule next week, when I get back. Yeah, my bad. On that note, let's get into it.
Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of the far-right group the Proud Boys, has been sentenced to 22 years in prison. This comes after his conviction for seditious conspiracy related to the January 6th Capitol riot. This sentence is the longest yet among those convicted in connection with the event.
Alright, so let's discuss Mr. Tarrio, a man who thought he could play revolutionary, but ended up getting a 2-decade timeout. So, T first, or should I say, judicial juice? As it turns out, Tarrio wasn't in Washington on January 6th. Nope, he was chilling in Baltimore because he had gotten arrested 2 days earlier for burning a Black Lives Matter flag. But don't let that fool you. The man was apparently orchestrating this chaos from the sidelines like a puppet master who ended up losing control of his marionettes. The department had just wanted to give him 33 years, but the judge ended up settling on 22 years. Which, I don't know, do you think that's a fair sentencing? Tarrio did try to play the remorse card, saying he was humbled by the trial, but the judge wasn't buying what he was selling. He basically said, "You're sorry for what now?" Nah. Sit down, son. So I was thinking, this sentencing sort of sets a precedent for accountability. No longer can leaders of these groups sit back and sit on their conspiracy Kool-Aid and say, "Hey, I wasn't there. You can't blame me." Well, it looks like the courts are saying, if you incite it, you own it. This might actually make people think before they do now. Having said that, if this power is being used on one side, it will most definitely be used on the other. So part of me is a little hesitant to celebrate. Anyways, Tarrio's sentencing could be the first domino to fall in a long line of legal actions against far-right groups. If the head honcho can get 22 years, what does that mean for the rank-and-file members? I mean, let's be real. Not everyone in these groups is down for a 2-decade stint in the clink. This kind of heavy sentencing could lead to internal divisions. And we may start to see a split between the hardcore believers and those who were just there for the memes and the MAGA hats. On the flip side, this could push some individuals to act alone, thinking they can evade the law if they're not part of any organized group. It's the if you want something done right, do it yourself mentality, but with a dark twist. Oh, lastly, the sentencings impact how the public perceives these groups. It's one thing to be a rebel, it's another thing to be a felon. This could affect their recruitment, as fewer people might be willing to join a group when its leader's doing hard time. Sorta lost your cover on this one, eh boys?
Dr. Jake Kleinmahon, one of Louisiana's only specialist pediatric cardiologists, has left the state due to recent anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. The laws in question include a Don't Say Gay copycat bill and a ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth. Dr. Kleinmahon, who was one of just 3 doctors specializing in heart transplants for children in Louisiana, felt he had no choice but to leave for the safety of his family.
So to spare me some embarrassment on this one, we're gonna go with Dr. Jake, or just Jake. Anyways, Dr. Jake, a man who's basically a superhero for kids with heart issues, has to leave Louisiana because the state decided to go full-on medieval with its laws. Or as the good doctor put it in an Instagram post, this is like a bad breakup, but instead of "it's not you, it's me," it's not you or me. It's the state around you. Now let's break down this legislative dumpster fire. First up, we have the Don't Say Gay bill, right? What's next? The Don't Think Gay bill? The law basically gags teachers from educating kids about different types of families. So if little Timmy asks why Johnny has 2 dads, the teacher has to pretend they didn't hear it. It's like putting ignorance on a legislative pedestal. Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, vetoed the anti-LGBTQ+ bills, but the Republican-controlled legislature overrode it. You know, like they're playing chess, only the losing side keeps flipping the board. Let's talk impact. Before Dr. Jake came along, complex pediatric heart cases had to be sent out of state due to the extreme lack of specialists in the field. He filled that gap. Now he's gone, and there are only 2 specialists left. So yeah, like I said, not a lot. Mind you, these laws aren't just harmful, they're also bad for business. Talented people like Jake are leaving the state, taking their skills and tax dollars with them. So they're basically cutting off their noses to spite their faces. But in this case, the nose is a life-saving pediatric cardiologist. Dr. Jake is now heading to New York where he'll continue his life-saving work. But what about the kids left behind in Louisiana? What about the families who relied on him? It's a loss for the state and a pretty big win for ignorance.
During Alexander Zverev's U.S. Open match, a fan was ejected for singing a Nazi-era German national anthem. Zverev, who is German, reported the incident to the umpire, leading to the fan's removal. The United States Tennis Association confirmed the ejection, citing a disparaging remark by the fan.
Ah, tennis, the sport of kings! Or is that horse racing? who cares? They both involve a lot of grunting and sweating, so, you know. Anyways, this is just another reminder that the ghosts of history are still haunting us, even in the most unexpected of places, like a tennis court. Oh, hey, wait. Oh, that's 2 Nazi swords today. My bad. I'll try not doubling up in the future. It's a little too late to fix this in the script. Anyways, so where were we? Oh, right. First off, kudos to Alexander for not letting it slide. The guy's in the middle of a high-stakes match, and he still has time to say, hey, that's not cool. As for the fan, dude, what were you thinking? You're at a tennis match, not one of your history revisionist conferences. You can't just start quoting Hitler in public. It's like yelling fire in a crowded theater, and then being surprised when people get all freaked out. So what do you think? Is there anything sports organizations can do to prevent these things from happening, or are we just making a racket about nothing? Let's serve this discussion right into your court, shall we? Puns. Nice.
Officer Fraser was on duty when he noticed a car speeding past him. Upon pulling the car over, he discovered an 18-month-old baby in distress. The child had stopped breathing and was blue in the face. Officer Fraser immediately sprang into action, administering care to the child and ultimately saving his life.
Alright, so first off, hats off to Officer Fraser. I mean, the guy was out there looking for distracted drivers, probably expecting to hand out some tickets, and boom! He's thrown into a life or death situation, which I get is part of the job, but still, I would probably freak out if there was a dying baby involved. Anyways, Officer Fraser sees this blue Camaro zoom past him going double the speed limit. Now, any other day, that's a one-way ticket to Fineville, but not today. The driver was frantically waving his hands out the window, screaming about the baby not breathing. The dashcam footage was pretty intense. You can hear the uncle and the mom in the car yelling, "Help! Help! We've got a baby dying in here!" Officer Fraser takes the baby, who's blue in the face at this point and has saliva covering his mouth, and started administering care. Luckily, as more officers had begun to arrive on the scene, the baby had started to breathe normal again. Oh, get this. The mom said that earlier in the day they had taken the baby to a hospital and he was diagnosed with COVID. They're not necessarily sure if the two things are related, but I mean, COVID and then to start seizing, I mean, they just can't catch a break, can they? Little bit of advice courtesy of Officer Fraser, by the way. Quote, even if you live right next to the hospital, call 911. The dispatchers will tell you what to do and the paramedics will show up, especially when it comes to children. This kind of goes to show how crucial proper training for law enforcement is. Clearly, the good first aid training the officer received had made some kind of difference. It's like good training leads to good results or something. Just saying.
An American English teacher who gained fame on TikTok has been arrested in Thailand for allegedly having sex with an underage girl he met online.
So this one's disturbing on like 4 different levels. I mean, we have a 30-something-year-old teacher preying on a teenage student, which is in itself bad enough. But for Rockwell, also known as English with Teacher Luke, who has roughly 1.3 million followers, to recklessly transmit STDs to this girl and secretly film their encounter without consent, not that it matters, she's a child, she can't give that kind of consent, is pretty top-tier evil shit. Oh, fun fact, his account's been set to private for obvious reasons. As a social media influencer, he clearly abused his fame and standing to manipulate this naive girl. While Thailand's age of consent laws are more, let's say, lax than in the US, being that the age of consent is only 15 there. But it is a criminal offense to take away someone who is over 15 but under 18 to conduct indecent acts outside of marriage, including when the person gives consent. The offense carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in jail and a fine of 10,000 baht, roughly 280 American dollars. Which, by the way, that seems problematic. Like, the fine is way lower than I thought it was gonna be. Like, I'm pretty sure a speeding ticket in California is double that amount. So, I mean... Anyhow, teachers have a duty to nurture students, not endanger and objectify them. You know, this is an especially bad look with Thailand's history of sex tourism and how Westerners often exploit these loose laws. So, is there a way to stop this sort of behavior online? Or is it a price we're gonna have to forever pay for our internet privileges? Alice, did you hear that? Sounds like you need to leave! Anyways, no, actually, I need to leave. I gotta go catch a flight. So as always, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. I legitimately want to hear what you guys have to say. So let us know what you thought about any of the topics today. So as always, stay weird, stay safe, and I'll see you next week.